Well, it's on for the first time. My friend Don Richards and I are decided to come
Richard,
together. Rashard, I'm
remember
so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Paradis.
Thank you. I've just been corrected. Uh, so we decided to come together we're both disruptors. We're both have been in the world of podcasting and coaching. And the idea is here to bring ideas and maybe different thoughts on what we could consider normal that's out there that doesn't work, a lot of confusion in the world of relationships. Um, so we're just going to bring some light, shed some light on the things that we notice in our work with our people, what works, what doesn't work, and kind of dismantle, some of the things that our customers and our clients kind of struggle with. So to start, my name is Andre Paradis. I'm a relationship coach. I'm an NLP practitioner, Neuro-linguistic. And this is how we move, trauma from my clients first before we do anything else. I always say I can't get anybody in a healthy relationship until we clean up the old stuff, period. So
Exactly.
that's
Yep.
essential. And then I'm also an educator of effective communication strategies. Good Lord. But you know this, Don, right? In the world, like all communications, all relationships, I mean, like, love relationships, family relationships, parent child, blah, blah, employer employees, communication is the thing that we suck at the most. There are good reasons for this anthropologically. I don't need to go into this, but everyone is challenged with coming across communicating because people think communication, we hear this all the time. People think communication is using the right words, right? Well, sort of, but because we speak English and we look at each other and you hear the words that come out of my mouth, we often think we're communicating. But if you don't get the results that you want, you're not communicating, right? So that's a big, 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 big blind spot for most of us as human. Like I said, we we speak in English, right? Mm-mm. Like we have two different filters as men and women first, and again, and all the in between. So, Don, introduce yourself, please.
Okay, so my name is Dawn Richard. Even though it looks like Richard, it's French, so it's
Oh,
Richard.
but of course.
And I have been a licensed professional counselor. My background is marriage and family systems. So I've been spending my entire life looking at the patterns of behavior, generations, families, friendships, parent-child, couples. And and recently I became a spiritual psychologist practitioner, and deepening my trauma work really, because all of our communication is based on our our identity, what happened to us when we were children, or
Ah,
through our important relationships, we
yep,
we came to believe certain things about ourselves. And so, like Andre, you were talking about, you have to deprogram.
yep.
Can I curse on
Oh
this?
yeah, oh yeah.
You have to deprogram all the shit, your bullshit belief systems that you carry around with you that don't serve you.
And
They
they
keep you
drive us. They
stuck.
drive us.
They drive us, and that's what gets in the way of our communication. I mean,
Yep.
when you were talking about that, and we had a little talk before we started, your words carry energy.
Ooh,
So you can say, I love you, or you can say, I love you.
right.
Two different energies. And so Andre has had a beautiful, long-term, lovely marriage.
Hmm.
And I had a beautiful, long-term marriage that was not very pleasant often. And so I chose to get divorced after 27 years of marriage. And one thing I heard in my marriage many, many times is, you're too sensitive. They're just words. And I was like,
Yep.
but your words are not being kind.
Right.
They're not making me feel safe. They're not giving me a sense of stability, security, peace. They're not making me want to connect with you.
Mm-hmm.
So how are your words impacting the other person?
Yeah.
That's it.
It's funny because I had a client just yesterday. They're a couple, and they had this huge collision 4 days ago. And and the whole idea is she got emotional. She got her feelings hurt. She got emotional, so she kind of lost her shit. Do you know what I mean? Because she's an old trigger that got flicked, and he did
Yeah.
it. The person that she loves the most flicked that nerve, so now he's the enemy on her nervous system for the second, right? So she flipped out completely. Uh, what she assumed that happened was not at all what happened. So he can see
Hmm.
clearly, what are you doing? Like, you're losing your mind and you're wrong, right? And it's just going. So she's an emotional roller coaster, which is, the feminine is a feeling machine. You feel, everything you see, smell, taste, touch, um, the five senses. uh,
Sensory. We're very sensory oriented.
Yes, Dr. Pat Allen that I trained with used to call women or an enormous orgasmatron because everything that comes at you throughout the day will make you feel good and bad and happy and sad and like throughout like the
Uh-huh.
weather on the East Coast, your mood will change per what's coming at you, right? We're flat because we don't lead all right through our feelings. So my point is that back they're having a huge fight because your feelings are hurt and how can you and why don't you and I can't believe you did this, you said that, and it's like logically, right? He's trying to control her feelings logically, like men do. And he goes, "That's not what I said. That's not what I meant. You have it completely wrong. You're acting a little crazy right now." So everything he's trying to wrangle her out logically. This is what men
Is
do.
not making her feel comforted
Well, no,
or
it's actually
or
it's
seen or understood.
and it makes it worse because
Yeah,
he's now denying how she feels, which is all
exactly.
she could be in that moment, right?
Exactly.
You cannot negotiate feelings.
No.
And men,
You can't
oh,
tell people don't feel that way. It's like,
right. But for men,
you know,
for us, we like feelings so like we can put them aside. Right? I have to keep
well,
working. My dad just died. I'm
uh,
sad, right? I'm
hmm
devastated, but I'm gonna put it in the
hmm
box aside and go to work. I have to take care of my family, right? So we have a compartmentalized brains that's incredible design because you ladies don't have that, right? We could put things aside and continue working and look like we don't care, right? I broke up with him 2 months ago, and look, he's having fun playing ball with his friends in the park. I'm devastated. I'm still crying.
yeah,
That's not it. He put it aside so he can continue living, right? So
right.
we have that design. You don't. So emotions drives a woman. Cool. Logic drives a man. Cool. But they're so different. We trigger each other, right? Like she wanted him, she wanted him to just acknowledge that her feelings was hurt. And he's
Yeah,
saying, I haven't done a freaking thing. You're overreacting. That's not what happened. You need to take responsibility for that and really kind of like use your brain and realize you make the mistakes. I'm not apologizing for your mistake. And kaboom, right?
yeah. Well,
So,
here's the thing, because I think what happens a lot of times in relationships, Andre, is you make the other person wrong.
well, but
So, and
yeah,
and
I
it
mean,
goes both ways, and it
sure,
goes
sure.
both ways.
It
And
is,
so instead
yeah.
of saying, I didn't do this, it's like you seek to understand first.
Well, yeah. But
How
that,
can how can I, because if she's, in her triggers,
yeah, tornado.
in her tornado, he says, I I acknowledge you're feeling very stressed out right now.
Well, that's the elevated like person, I want to say, right? There's something understanding, but because the basic male brain, right? When you attack me for something I have not done, I got to correct you because that's not fair.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So that's what happens there. It's not like, we don't understand that we're not, I have to teach this to men, right? Like you have to meet her in her feelings in order for you to become a hero. But we instinctively go, that's not what I meant. That's not what we try to defend ourselves,
Right.
right? I said I'm defending myself, explaining myself. It's not, it's making it worse, right? So,
Right.
and now,
Yeah.
so this is what happens like naturally. So it takes
Often.
often,
Often,
but I mean, it's
often,
kind of like
often.
how everybody freaking does it because we don't understand each other, right? You get emotional, we don't know why. That's not what I said. That's not what I did. That's not at all what happened. You're making it up, right? How do you go there? Like we think you're a little crazy, right? Because we don't understand how your emotions can take you that far. Like
And
now,
and then and then we think you're completely insensitive because
of
you're
course,
not you're
right?
not
Because
validating my
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 feeling,
experience, my
right?
feelings, what's
So
going
again,
on inside of me.
heart-centered female, head-centered male, two different machines, and this is where we miss the boat, that we trigger each other, make things worse, and so that even that understanding of that, right? But the most people just are reactive. She gets her
Correct.
feelings hurt, so she gets her feelings hurt. So that's okay. There it goes. You know what I mean? And he's trying to defend himself and trying to bring it back into a logic because Her feelings literally or trigger are not valid for what happened because you actually had it wrong, right? And again, this is how we make each other wrong. So I don't think people try to make each other wrong. They're trying to get their sides, understood. Like she wants to be heard, and she wants him to acknowledge her feelings, and he wants to be heard and said, "That's not what happened. Stop." Right? So,
Okay, so you can't both be trying to seek understanding and wanting to be understood at the same time. You have to take turns.
ta-da. That's one. You know what I mean? But I
You
mean, I
have to
say,
take turns.
I,
Like she wanted him in the moment to say, I want your validation and your support. But when you're in the midst of it, all these things have to be negotiated before you actually get in the situation where you have to apply these practices.
it's not always possible though, right? Like that thing
Right,
just kind of happened. Like it came out of
right,
nowhere. Something happened with her daughter, and and she assumed that and then but she was already mad at the daughter. So then,
right.
boom, right?
I
So
know
and
it's just like
so like there's no even preventing that or seeing that coming, right? It was just everything was fine, and then everything went to hell. And the more he tried to correct her, the worse it got. And now he's
I
denying
don't
her
want to be
feelings.
corrected. You're
Yeah,
not my dad.
I know, but she's like, he's trying to say, look, that's you're accusing me of stuff that didn't happen. I gotta fix that. Because by the way, and this is factual of man, is it's impossible, really, on some level. It's practically impossible for a man to apologize for something that he has not done on purpose. Like that's not what I did. That's not what I meant. That's not, you know what I mean? Like I did not do this to you, right? You got there because you, right? But men have to understand it doesn't matter, right? You
Doesn't
just want to
matter.
meet her. It's like, I'm sorry that happened. It's not an admission of guilt. It's to admit that you feel bad that she got triggered. You feel bad that she's mad. You feel bad that because of what happened, now she's in that state. Meet her in her feelings. Now you become the hero. Try to negotiate her feelings. She's like, might as well throw a brick in her face, and you're not making it better. You look more like a jerk, a cold, distant, disconnected, uncaring male.
And when you say, I'm sorry that you felt that way,
Mhm.
that's not an apology.
No, but
That
it's meeting.
completely invalidates her feelings
Well,
as well.
I think it meets her in her feelings. I mean, it's her feelings. So I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. My wife's mother, right? She's a very funny woman, but the two of them, right?
Uh-huh.
And my wife is a happy, easygoing woman. She's feminine anyway. But when her mom would call, and they say typically on Sundays where we're having a family day, we have brunch outside, we're sitting in the sun, it's right by the pool, it's whatever. I have a great life. But like, so we're all outside having a good day. We're gonna just take it easy. Mom calls, and my lovely wife disappears because mom makes her
Mm,
mad. Mom pisses her
mm,
off. Mom's
yeah.
always, telling, and she can't finish a sentence. Mom's cut her off, right? So very frustrating. So my lovely wife, after talking to her mother, right, is angry. Now the space is polluted with her anger and her frustration, right? It's not
Uh-huh.
directed at us, but we all feel it. Now the
Right.
environment is now
Right.
like damaged or polluted, I want to say. So before knowing this material, this is my boy brain would say, right? Because I want her back. I want her back. We all want her back, right? So I say, babe, why do you let that bother you? You know she's going to do it. She
Oh,
does it every time, right? So I'm logically trying to wrangle her back. Like she does this every time. You don't see that coming? Like, why do you let her get to you that way? Like that's what she does, right? I might as well throw a brick in her face, right?
that's like saying you're wrong.
Well, that's
How
exactly
you
saying you're wrong,
reacted, how you
but
responded is wrong.
my intention is to bring her back logically because that's how us men do it. This doesn't make sense. Let it go, right? It doesn't matter. It shouldn't bother you. You know better. Like with logically, just kind of because that's how we do it. So,
Yeah.
so get this. This is what I'm talking about. Meeting her in her feelings. So I could tell her that she shouldn't and that right. I become the enemy. Now she's even
Yeah.
more mad,
You
right?
can't should people.
But check it out. So
Yeah.
I learned this, right? Meeting her new feelings. So instead of saying you shouldn't and why do you, I go, Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry your mother makes you mad, babe. I'm really sorry if your mother makes you mad. It's really not cool. It's not fair, but she does it what she's doing it. But I'm really sorry, that she triggers you like this every time. The
Yeah.
moment I say this, I meet her where she's at,
Yep.
right? And she goes, oh, well, it's just like now she could actually be with it. She didn't have to defend her feelings. I met her there. Right? And it could be me, by the way, because same thing. I'm sorry, I hurt your
No,
feelings. I'm
I
sorry
was
this
gonna say,
happened,
I
right?
sorry that I triggered you.
Right. So, because sometimes
Yeah.
it's me, but if you're attacking me with it, then I might have to get defensive, and but so
Right.
I'm saying this
Right.
this example is simple because it makes keeps me outside of it. But get this, instead of trying to correct her and make her act right, think right, meet her in her feelings. Right? I'm sorry your mother makes you feel bad. It's terrible. I wish she wouldn't, I'm sorry you feel bad. She gets her breath. Well, and then a little bit of rumbling. And I say this. Are you ready? Magic words. I learned. I say, is there anything I could do to make you feel better? Now I'm the
Bing,
hero.
bing, bing, bing,
Now I'm the
bing, bing,
hero.
bing.
So meeting her in her
Huh.
feelings, and, when you said it doesn't fix it, it actually does make the connection happen for me meeting her there. And then I could actually be the hero saying, what can I do to make you feel better? Right. And she'll say, every time she'll say, nothing, I'm fine. And so, well, maybe some water. I'm going to sit outside in the gazebo. I'm like,
But if
be
you
right there.
if you say that, Andre, if this couple, if he had said, I'm so sorry I triggered that reaction in you. I'm so sorry. I didn't do it intentionally. It wasn't like I didn't do that. You missed it, it's
Right,
like
right.
I'm sorry that whatever I said or whatever I did triggered these feelings and reactions in you.
Mm.
I'm taking responsibility. It doesn't
Yes,
matter my intention because, of course, I didn't mean anything by it, but you reacted in a way because of whatever patterns are happening inside of you.
right.
And so when you come to the place of not making the other person wrong by having their reaction, you're overreacting. It doesn't matter. Like that
Yeah,
doesn't matter. It's like I'm holding space for you
right.
because I'm trying to help support you. So that
Right.
thing, how can I support you in
I
this
get it.
moment?
However, that happens after the fact. They
Sometimes,
had to
probably
fight
most of the
that,
time. Yeah.
right? So there's a fight, we get triggered, we get emotional, we get
Yeah.
erratic, irrational, we start
Yeah.
screaming and yelling because how
Yeah.
could you? And that's not what I did, right?
Right.
So by the way, yesterday, through me, they had a conversation about, I'm so sorry, and she admitted that she completely misunderstood what was happening. She felt betrayed, but there was no betrayal. And that's what he kept
Yeah.
saying, like, I didn't fucking do anything.
Yeah.
Stop, because she's treating him like crap because now he's paying for something he hasn't done. So he has to defend himself because it's not fair, right? So the way I say it is like when things get heated, there's this misunderstanding, this conflict, right? And often we feel unheard, right?
Correct.
Misunderstood. So this is why people yell because you're not hearing me. Now I'm saying it louder.
The
And then
louder you yell, the less I want to listen.
now I have to defend myself from that pile of crap, and then so it escalates into a shit show, and then you end up saying stuff that you can't take back. It could be hurtful forever. So I always say we don't let things. This is what adults do. This is what people who are in successful relationships do. They don't let it escalate.
Escalate.
They have a signal that goes like this: time out. It's
Time
getting
out.
it's
Yeah.
getting heated. It's not working, right? We take our corners, right? Go for a walk, go for a ride, go to Home Depot if you're the guy, right? Go, whatever. Just disconnect from the madness because it's not going to go anywhere. So have the courage to go, time out. We have to, let's cool off
Take a
and
breath.
let's cool off, come back together. We will come back together and fix this. But right now, it's not going to happen, right? So
Yeah.
you set it up, you have
Yeah.
an agreement. So the fact that he leaves is not abandoning her. He's getting some space. Right? So sometimes it takes
As
an
long as
hour.
he just doesn't walk away. Like
Well,
all
like
of
I said,
those
that's why
things have to be spoken about.
we have to have the agreement up front. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not walking away. We need some space. We have to cool off, right? So it could
I'm
take an
giving a
hour.
time.
It
Yeah.
could
I'm
take an
giving
hour, take
time.
2 days, right?
Yeah.
But so we have to come back when we're new. I call it neutral. And then
Neutral.
we come back face to face, like adults, right? Not dysregulated, but calm. And then we could actually have an adult conversation. If I have your back and you have my back, we want the best for each other. We come back neutral and go, wow, so what happened? How did we get there? Well, my dad used to, and now you figure out that, but this is how you do it. This is how you do conflict resolution. And by the way, if you do this right, take your corners, come back neutral, and talk like adults and stop waving your finger in anybody's face on both sides, right? If I have your back, I want the best for you. If you have my back, you want the best for me. So now we're playing fair, right? But, and like I said, we could actually resolve the situation. And every time, by the way, when you have each other's back, it's in the conflict resolution that we get tighter. It's all every time we fix it, the person is safer. There, you feel
Safer.
understood. You feel understood. You feel respected for the man. She feels safer as a woman, right? So the tightness of the relationship, the bond that is created, is actually in a healthy conflict resolution, not because everything is la-di-da. So what
No.
happened to them? She got triggered. He got triggered. It went straight to hell. It went ta 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 ta. It went no, it was shit show. It took him 3 days to even want to talk to each other again, right?
Yeah.
And then they did this with my help. Well, now all of a sudden, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I didn't. I was trying to. I know that, and now they're back together. But they have a new deal on how to approach conflict from here on, and they're going to mess up because it takes practice, right?
It
But
takes a
then
lifetime of practice.
yeah,
Hello.
but you get to go back and you get to go back and do this again every time. Do this again, and that's what people succeed in long term do.
But
Period.
see, I think what happens though, Andre, and I'll just speak from in my case, in my
Sure.
marriage, a lot of times what would happen is we would have these conflicts and there would be an escalation. And I think I usually was like, this isn't going anywhere. I'm going to, and he would go away and we would go away. And then when I would say, okay, let's talk about it, he's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And so that sense of trust and safety and you have my back just kept eroding, eroding,
Yeah. I
eroding.
get
And
it.
I think that's what happens a lot in a lot of relationships
Yep.
is
Yep.
people don't know how to do it. And so they just keep getting further and
Yep.
further and
Yep.
further and further
Yep.
apart, as
Yep.
opposed to
Yep.
saying, how can we resolve this so both people feel seen, heard, understood, respected, validated, and like you do have my back, that we're a team here. This is not me against you. This is
Which
whatever the
is
situation
yeah.
is, even if it's two things. One, we can agree to disagree. That's one thing. And
Uh,
two, if we have to quote unquote compromise, if that's the thing, that it's got to be a resolution that both people feel good about, not just one person feels like they win and the other person loses
right.
because
Well,
you because the
that's not
relationship
negotiation. Right.
loses.
Right. That's not even a negotiation. So
Yeah.
again, if you have each other's back, you want to understand the other side and then respect that and actually understand empathy for their trauma, their triggers that was flicked in that moment, right? But people tend, so are you familiar
But
with the
people
tri
don't
the
understand the whole trauma
well, watch
drama.
this. So this is I call it the triangle of irrational thinking or emotional thinking versus
Hmm.
rational thinking, right? So the triangle is this, right? Something happens, right? This is what irrational or I just said
Ooh,
it.
how about reactive?
Emotional, reactive, emotional happens, right? So something
Okay.
happened, we'll react, and then we think, "Damn, I shouldn't have said that."
Mm.
That's irrational, right? This emotional behavior. So a lot of us are guilty of that. Something happens, we get mad, rah, and then go,
Eh.
damn it,
Yeah. I
that was
call it
bad.
verbal vomit.
But it's again, it's a reaction without
Yeah.
thinking. So
Yeah.
what people do that's healthier, rationally, something happened, we think
Think
about
about
it,
it.
and
And
then we
then
react. Or actually, don't even react, you could respond as opposed to
respond.
react.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's two different. So if you could just keep that in mind, you know what I mean? Something happens, stop, 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 process first, right? Is it true? This is really what happened. Then respond. When that happens, it hurt my feelings. Is that what you meant? Because that's how I took it. I mean, it kind of was, let's get crappy. Like, is that what you meant? Because it was blah. Point the finger at you instead of pointing the finger at them. They don't feel attacked. They feel respected and you ask. And
Hmm.
then you get the, I'm sorry, or an explanation. It's really, really simple. But nobody
I,
teaches this.
No, nobody teaches this. And
So
I did, I
this is what I
did,
do. That's what we do.
I did ta interview a couple for my podcast one time. It was a couple that started a Tantra community in Australia, really cool couple. And they said when they have these arguments, if one of them says something hurtful, the other person says, ouch, that
Yep,
really hurt.
yep, 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 yep,
And
yep,
so you, instead of thinking it or saying, why are you being such a jerk? It's like,
yep.
ow, that really cut, that cut.
But
And
that resonates if you have each other's back. You made the
if you
deal
have
already.
each
If
other's
when I say
back,
ouch, right, this now it's going bad. Oh, a signal, right? It's a signal like this is a
it's the,
signal.
yeah,
Ouch is a signal.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? On both sides, but it's an agreement. You have to have that agreement up front. That's what
yeah,
people don't typically do. We get reactive because we're triggered. Then the other one's the enemy, and then blah, 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 and now we
yeah,
think you're crazy. He's a jerk, right?
right.
That's what we're trying to avoid. Anyway, I hope that helps some listeners, right? Because we're gonna keep these things short.
This is going to, we got a lot to talk
Oh my
about.
goodness.
We
Yes.
and you and I can talk for hours and days and weeks and months and years about this stuff.
And straight through without stopping.
Yeah.
So, last words for you, if you anything, like what do you like want to leave people with? There's something to
Okay.
think about.
Yeah. So I say the bottom line is whatever I'm doing, saying, or how I'm responding, helping create a sense of safety, connection, and trust? Or is it creating a wall of disconnection,
Mm.
distrust, lack of safety and security? So it's like when we were talking just before, I said, you're either creating a sense of peace and harmony
Yeah.
or division and chaos.
Yep. I mean, and again, typically in my world, you know this as well, is when people have been to trauma, right? In youth, abandonment, neglect, or abuse,
Yep.
and so people have all
Yeah.
all the layers of
All of them.
abuse:
Yep.
physical abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse, and
Emotional, verbal,
sexual abuse. Some
sexual.
people have all of them, right?
Yeah.
So the triggers are alive and well, and right at the
A
surface.
lot. Yeah.
And then you end up dealing with people that are super reactive, and these things are difficult to do. So I my
And
to
that's their nervous system being on high alert all the
absolutely
time. So of
right.
course they're reactive. That's their
So
protective mechanism. That makes
right,
total
but
sense.
it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it work,
No,
right? It's just the reality of we understand how it works. So my two bits is do your work. If
do
you
your
want to
work.
be in any relationships and stop being triggered by the crap of your past, because we all have it,
Have
it's
it.
just different levels, right? Do your work. No relationship is going to make you happy. No relationship is going to make you feel complete. No relationship will make you safe if you never felt safe. You will actually find somebody who's going to make you feel unsafe, just like you always used to, right? So do your work first.
Yeah.
That's the only way to get to the other side and get the life that you were born to have. And that's
Well,
my two
and it's
cents.
not like do your work first in isolate. I mean, you do your work, but your relationship is a reflection of your work.
Right, right, right,
So
right, right.
whatever's happening in the outside, you got to look in the mirror.
Yeah, and then to find the triggers, find what happened,
Yeah,
kind of trying to release that, right? But the relationship is here to show you your triggers. So to
exactly.
isolate, people say, women say that to me all the time, like, I'm just gonna take time for me, and I'm gonna fix me. Right? Well, the thing is, you need a relationship to show you your triggers to fix you, right? And vice versa. We both so that's the game. So the idea of isolating for years because I'm doing my work, I'm going to therapy, that's all sweet and good, but until there's somebody in there in the
Yeah.
middle to for
Who's
you
going
to
to
get
trigger the shit out of you?
and for you to step in and learn the tools and learn to speak the truth and learn to set boundaries and learn right.
Yeah.
So isolation will not help you. Doing the work on your own will not help you. You want to start there, but you got to open up. So
Yeah.
we could do this all day long, but
Let's
good
do
one,
it.
my yes. So we're gonna meet weekly. That's what we're shooting for. Maybe bi-weekly. We haven't quite decided yet. We're gonna go live on YouTube next time, because we hadn't quite figured it out this morning. So in order to just get one done, we just did it. So I'll post this as well, and I'll send it to you. You can post it on your site. But from here
Yeah.
on, if you're listening, we're planning on coming in on a regular basis on Friday morning, uh, East Pacific time, wherever you are in the world. And the idea is eventually for you guys to tap in, ask question up front, right? To like kind of want to know about this, this, and this, because like you said,
Feedback. What do you want to know more
there's
about?
there's thousands of things we could talk about, and we
Yeah.
will, but specifically, what is the audience looking for, wanting from us? So help us help you, and uh, look for us on the YouTube channels, and let's all grow together. Let's all,
Yeah.
let's all
Let's
kind of,
create beautiful. I mean, we all want to be loved and connected and,
yes, a peaceful,
this is
beautiful
peaceful,
life.
beautiful life. Yeah.
So, with that said, Donnie, thank you. Appreciate
Thank you,
you.
Andre.
Have a great
Thanks,
week.
everybody. I hope this has been helpful
Yes, and we'll see you next time.
soon.
Bye.